Less than a month ago, we bought and built up this co-op, but now it's failed. So that means we are going to have to sell everything here and try to recoup a little bit out of our investment. But don't worry, due to some favorable grants by the government, we are going to be investing in a completely new business. If you enjoyed this series and want to see more, make sure you like and subscribe. All right, it's about 4:12 and we just got ourselves something to eat. We're going to head back down to the co-op, which I know we just bought and I know we just invested a lot of money into it, but we got a very sizable grant coming in from the government. It's a part of the Renewable Energies Initiative, and it is going to prove to be a lot better business venture for us. Ah, the co-op. It only feels like we just built you. I mean, that's because we did. But you guys, we ran the future projections, and even though we're losing a crisp $1.1 million on initial investment here, in the long run, our futures are showing that we are going to be making significantly more money by doing the switch now. So we're here, and you're never going to believe it. These brand new bins, they're getting tore down. All this equipment that we most recently bought, all getting sold. And this one shed, we might actually keep it. I haven't fully decided. It's a nice shed. When it's all said and done, we should have about $1.6 million from the sale of all of these existing investments. Or I should say assets, but, well, we'll see if we get screwed out or anything like that. So, to make a couple phone calls and sell a bunch of equipment. All right, step one is done. We've already had an auction house come and take all of our equipment, except for that one tractor. I decided I wanted to keep this one. But they paid us a crisp $1 million, just over $1,043,000. Now, we've got to call somebody who wants these bins, and, well, we'll see how much we can get for all of these things. Ooh, there you go. All right, so we've got the shed still, and we did keep the weigh station on the backside. Now, it might be inconveniently placed. We might need to relocate it, but for the time, since it's already here, we're going to try and work it into the design. And this shed also might end up being very inconvenient, but we're going to try our best to keep it in the design as well. So now we've got $1.6 million in the bank, and this is before our grant even comes in. So I think we got a little bit of room to upgrade our truck here. So we're going to drive into town and sell the old beater, the old 3, and pick up a new truck. I know what you guys are thinking. Boy, oh boy, Jake has been spending a lot of money recently. Buys a co-op, builds it brand new, sells it within a month, loses $1.1 million on the deal. But hey, you know what? It's all going to be worth it. Though I'm going to be completely honest, we might end up having to help some of the local farmers and become a hired hand for a little while because it might be a little while. In fact, over a year until we actually see any profit on our investment. So for at least this first year, I might need to go get a job. We'll see what happens. But we're showing up to the old dealership. We're going to see what they'll give me for a trade-in on this truck. And we're going to leave here with our new truck. Wow, they give me almost 10 grand for that old beater. Well, let's walk in and fill out the paperwork and we'll pick up our brand new truck today. And there we go, guys. About $50-some thousand later, we have bought the most basic package of a 2017 F250 four-wheel drive 6.7 liter Power Stroke diesel. It literally is the bare bones package. There is nothing special. The most special thing, it's got a toolbox, and that's it. Well, let's go ahead and fire up our new truck, and let's get on to work today. Woo! This interior is way nicer than our old 03. You know what? It's even got a bit of that new car smell, even though she's actually not a new car. All right, as you guys know, each one of these wind turbines costs us $750,000 minimum to put into a field. And we currently have $1.6 million in our bank account. Now the thing is we do have that grant coming in still, but we need a lot of money not only to build more of these wind turbines, but to also build our new biogas facility, which we are going to be building at the old co-op. So we're going to use a bit of private loans as well as that grant to make this happen. I did call my banker, and while we were in town, we finalized the loan on the business for another $400,000, and we should be getting the grant in here soon as well. As you guys can see, we've already come out here and staked 1 and 2 more wind turbines we can put in this particular field. I believe I told you guys last time that they have to be 80 meters from any residential or right-of-way, and then they have to be 40 meters from any tree line. So these are the only 2 that we can fit in this field. We can't fit any more in this particular field. We will have money to put 1 more, but that is where we're going to have to stop there, as the rest of the funds are going to be going towards our BGA. day. Thankfully, though, these things are pretty low maintenance and they make us a pretty good return, so no complaints there. But before we get to installing a wind turbine here in this field, we're going to get back over to the old co-op and start to plan out our new BGA. All right, so looking at this plot of land right here, we see we have a good concrete slab for the most part. So what I think we can do is have people come in like we normally do and have them wrap around to scale, and then they can wrap back around, and possibly we can have them dump here, and then maybe we have underground piping that runs and we can put more facilities off this direction or back here. I just don't think we're gonna have the room to fit it all in here. I'm thinking too, we should probably be spending about anywhere from $200,000 to $500,000 on our initial build of this biogas plant. So if we take a look, we have these bunkers varying in size. Of course, here's the smallest one for $56,000. So essentially, people come and they put their biomatter into this, which will convert it in, well, actually, it's just where you unload it, and that can send it into one of these. This is a fermenter. So this will convert that biomass into energy, methane, and digestate. But now you need somewhere for that energy, methane, and digestate to go. So for the digestate specifically, this is the large version. It takes that fermentation residue and it converts it into electricity and methane, so it reprocesses it. Whereas these smaller ones convert methane and electricity back into digestate. So you can try to loop a system a little bit and run it through multiple times if you really wanted to, if you put one of these in. You also have these liquid fermenters that allow you to take direct filling from like liquid manure and slurry. And then of course we have these underground storages that we can install to hold the various materials. Like this one will hold slurry, this one holds digestate. And now on to the real moneymaker is right here, these generators. We can put these generators down that will multiply the electricity and methane output by 2. So if we have these down and we run the electricity and methane, which is the final product, through these generators, we can actually multiply it by a second factor, and we can double our income essentially off of the single product that we are producing. And this methane tank here is similar to the generators, as there's a few options of generators, some that are more efficient, some that are not. So trying not to overcomplicate everything, but it is very complicated to start. The absolute cheapest we can start this biogas facility is about $282,000. Although that won't be the most efficient and it will have a bit of waste. All right, the overcomplicated explanation out of the way, let's get on to the actual work. So we'll have them enter and come around like I had said, and we'll have them weigh right here. Once they've weighed here, we're going to try and utilize the opportunity to place the bunker right here. So essentially what we'll do is we'll make them a spot where they swing out this way, and then they can back right on up and unload, and then they can pull around and off this access road. I'm sure there's a slightly more efficient way we could do it, but this is the way we're going to build it initially. So there we go. We've got our bunker. This is going to take in the biomass products from the local farmers, but we have to send that into a fermenter. So I think right about here is where we're going to line up our first fermenter. Actually, I am going to angle it to face like this just a little bit because I want to ensure that I have some pipes for ease of access to continue this. So there we go. Our first fermenter is now placed in position, connected to our bunker. But now, since we're trying to produce this as cheap as possible to start, we are going to skip the post-fermenter process, which means we are going to have a waste product that we're not going to be able to recycle through the system yet. Now, the main reason I didn't want to include one of the post-fermenters is because they're absolutely massive, because it has to go through quite a process, and I just didn't think we could quite fit this into our design here. I mean, look at the size of this thing. Though looking at it here, it might just be possible to fit this in, although it's a tight fit. But I think it'll be worth it, and our grant should help us cover the additional $150,000 to include this, so let's go ahead and do so. And looking at the weigh station, we are probably going to just have to replace this, so we will just rebuild the weigh station. All right, so to complete our first cycle here, for the most part, we are going to include 2 generators. Originally, we were going to only include 1, but I would like to keep this as efficient as possible and ensure we're not having any bottlenecking, as we do plan to to expand into the future. So there we go. We have our first biogas plant. We're running our input through here, running it through the fermenter, taking it over to the post fermenter to reprocess the digest state, which now means we have no waste material out of this whole process. It all gets converted into either methane or electricity, which run through these generators to duplicate the power output times 2, and then from the generators we sell onto the grid. So let's go ahead and just add a weigh station back in right here, and all we have to do is kind of reroute the pathing. We are going to allow them to skip through right here for our vehicles particularly. We're going to use cones to formalize the separation of lanes here as well, but we're going to drag this one off like so to try and run it over towards this road, and then we're gonna give a spot to turn around. That should probably be about enough room. If we need more room, we can always take more out of that cornfield. Now we're gonna add a couple blocks right here to show that you are not supposed to drive into that field, and we're gonna add a couple right here to show that you're not supposed to enter through that driveway right there. We're also gonna get rid of this grass with a bit of gravel. Gravel's cheaper than concrete, and it's a little bit faster. So there we go. Check it out, guys. We have built our first version of the biogas plant. We will expand it as, you know, production needs expanding if we see any bottlenecks. But I just want to go in here and show you. See, you can actually control each thing separately, and you can control the production chain. So this is really, really cool because you can build it out how you want. Now, I'm not a genius in all of this, so I'm going to let you guys know that Farmer Klein has an amazing video breaking all of this stuff down. You should definitely go check it out if you want to check out this mod. It all gets really complicated, and we're not going to math it out. What matters is that we have it built, and now we can move on to the next thing today. All right, our private loan has officially entered our bank account, so we're going to use that to build one of the wind turbines here. So let's head back down that way and figure out which one we're going to build. Well, there you guys go. We've got our drive coming off of that other wind turbine, and there we go. 2 of them in this field now. That means we spent $750,000, but it's going to be making $68,000 and $68,000 right there. We still got $765,000 in the bank account, which is technically enough to get another wind turbine. But you know what? We're going to wait until one of those grants come in. For now, we're going to run back to the new biogas facility, and we're going to see what equipment we might need. And we're going to send out emails to all of our previous customers, letting them know that the co-op has made a significant shift, and we're currently in the process of changing over from Allied Farmers Cooperative to Allied Energy, which sounds like it probably is a real energy company, and if so, that is purely coincidental. Well, I think I'm gonna go online, do some looking around, see if we can find a nice wheel loader and some other stuff. But that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you all enjoyed, and until next time, I'll see you all later.